Welcome to another edition of ACB Caribbean Coach's View. Today I'm going to be flying solo. My guest unfortunately had to fly out today, so we'll be carrying it all by myself. And we just want to wish him all the best on this trip that he's got to make. Our platinum sponsor for this program, ACB Caribbean. They have been with ACB Caribbean has been with Parish League Cricket for the last 44 years and still going strong. We want to thank them very much. And our other sponsors are Brands for Less, Seco Pharmacy, Digicel, Plumbing and Electrical Limited, that's PEL, PEL, Zen Body and Skincare, Blue Mountain Water, you see you have it there, the most refreshing water. I like it, very good for you. Pine Hill Juice with the distributors being Hutchinson Limited and Old Palm Road, and Cool and Smooth. Hutchinson Limited, my beg your pardon, is on Factory Road, and Cool and Smooth, they are the people who sponsor us with our platinum sponsors being ACB Caribbean. Now, we're going to be talking about coaching. And when we speak about coaching, we're not going to talk about coaching cricket. We're not going to be talking about coaching football. We're going to be talking about coaching. How do we get our coaches to understand that their role is important? We just saw, or we're still seeing it happening here in Antigua, the Super 8 League for the ICC Under 19s World Cup. And having been part of the whole ground preparation out at Liberty and so on, I had the privilege of speaking to some of the coaches, and they're pretty amazed in terms of some of the talent that they see around Antigua, around the Caribbean. A lot of people still are, but why is it that our sportsmen in general, in particular on this case, cricket, how is it that we can't go forward? How is it that we can't move from one stage to the next? What we'll look at today is some of the coaching commandments. We look at 10 coaching commandments. We look at 10 coaching skills. And in the time that we have, we could see how much we can dissect them to see if our coaches can, maybe see where they can improve, make themselves more efficient, more better. Remember, if you want to be interactive, you can call us and join in the discussion. You don't have to agree with anything that I say. You can call in, you can air your view, 776-2866, 776-2866. You can call us. You can also send us a message. If you're following us on Facebook, let us know how you think about some of the discussions that we are saying. So let us have a look at the 10 commandments and to see where and how we probably can tie it all together and to see where our coaches, can probably be a little bit more efficient, and see how we can help them. Now, the first commandment, it says, thou shalt always remember to be a positive role model at all times, both on and off the field. Now, this is crucial, just like a teacher. Coaches are teachers. Teachers are coaches. It's basically the roles, the responsibilities are very similar. In terms of making yourself a good role model, the athlete, the student, they will see you as the one to follow. They will want to follow the good habits that they see you following. And so it is very important, it is very critical as coaches that we are good role models. We have to be early, we have to be on time, we have to be organized, we have to make sure that the image that we put out, the image that these players, the image that these students are seeing from us, it is good and it is positive. So when they go home and they start doing that, being neat and tidy, they start tidying up the room, mommy will say, how come I you start to clean up and so on? They say, boy, I see coach doing it, boy, and I think it's a good thing. Okay, so that's the first one. Thou shalt always remember to be a positive role model at all times, both on and off the field. 2, thou shalt always remember to exercise great care and caution when both praising and disciplining players. And again, caution, because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. The emotional injuries are very, very, very harder to heal. Those scars remain there for a lifetime. And also in terms of discipline, you don't want to overdo. You want to make sure that whatever the discipline, it is amount to the crime or to the wrongdoing that a particular player or so. We don't just want to discipline someone because of emotion. And when we are praising the players as well, we have to be careful that we are not being honest. We want to praise them. We want them to get a real feeling of what you as the coach believe that performance was all about. Honesty. So whenever you say anything to them down the road, they can trust that comment because they felt you were upfront and you were fair. Thou shalt always remember to manage time and resources wisely, while always being prompt. And again, I spoke about that, being prompt, being early. You want the players to come and meet you there. One of the things I can tell you as a coach that it does for me, whenever I go to the ground early and set my things up, have everything there, you're just there waiting for them. Sometimes you're at the edge of the field just waiting. As soon as the players come, they get their bags down, they put their shoes on, they get the gear, and they're out. And it goes back to the first one, being a good role model. If the players turn up and see you as the coach sitting down, relaxing in a chair under a tree, that's what they're going to do as well. Okay? Because the coach is cool out under a tree, so I'm going to cool out under a tree as well. Because, hey, that's the thing. That's the thing to do. If the coach is doing it, I want to do it. So if you are prompt, if you are there, if you're on time, and so forth, they will put their bags on quickly. They will get out there. In terms of managing the resources, you have to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to use the resources. You know, everybody gets an opportunity to use whatever equipment is there. You share them properly, so some don't have an. If there's a situation that you don't have enough, you have to know when to share them around. Today is yours, tomorrow is yours, and so you have to make sure you manage that as well, and that people don't feel left out. Thou shalt always remember to be enthusiastic and encouraging by always realizing who you are dealing with. Crucial, number 4, the people we coach, they are all different. They come from different background, but that doesn't mean because somebody come from uptown and somebody come from downtown that we're going to treat downtown differently. Always, as a coach, don't ever have what we call favorites. Don't ever have that. Nobody is a favorite. Nobody is less than the other. Treat them all the same. Show the same enthusiastic behavior. Encourage all of them the same. Because you may not know what is happening at home. And one funny treatment, one word to someone who is really struggling at home could be the most talented player. But that could mean the end of him. He may not come back. He may think that the coach, don't like him, or the coach is looking down at him. So the fact that we don't know, we have to try to realize who we're dealing with. Who is it that they deal? And as a coach, there is nothing at all wrong in going home, meeting some of the parents and so on, and get a feel as to some of these young athletes that we are coaching. That will help you as a coach to help them if you know what kind of background they are coming from as well. Thou shalt always remember to emphasize the message of stressing the team's concept versus the individual. Again, obviously, when we come together as a team, and for me, team have a meaning. The word team, every letter have a meaning. Okay? And for me, that meaning is together. So as far as I'm concerned, team is an acronym. In this case, I'm saying team is an acronym. Big letters and a period after every letter. Together, each achieve more. That is my meaning for team. Together, each achieve more. So it is very important that the team, the individuals who make up that team, understands the message that the coach is putting out to the team. That I understand my part in the team, my role. I understand what the team wants me to do, not what I want to do for the team. I understand what the team wants me to do. What is my role play in the team? And it can be today, it can be next week, it can be for the year. But I, as an individual, understand what the team requires of me. Okay, and I'm going to do this, and the team have to, work around me. But again, we have to make sure we are very subtle, especially when we're dealing with individuals who may be, not accustomed to having these things said to them and so forth. So that is very critical. Make sure that the message or the concept is clear. Thou shalt always remember to be conscious of all apparent and subtle safety hazard that may be present. And as a coach, we want to make sure that the environment is safe. Whatever the situation is, we want to make sure that it will not bring harm to the athletes, to the students. That is our responsibility as well. That is our responsibility as a coach. And make sure that they can play without having to worry about something that can, take their focus away. You get hurt, maybe a hole in the ground, maybe a pole sticking out somewhere, maybe a big stone on the field, whatever it is, whatever. It's not too wet and people may slip and hurt themselves and that kind of stuff. Whatever it is, make sure that as a coach we are conscious that it is there and we have to deal with it, no matter how minor we may think it is. Thou shalt always remember to attempt to educate players by teaching proper fundamentals and skills through appropriate demonstration techniques. Now, the word attempt is there for a reason. It is a deliberate effort to let us see that we have to try. That is what it is saying. Thou shalt always remember to attempt, try to educate the players. Obviously, some will learn quicker than some will get it eventually, some will learn it by going back and reading over, watching over the videos, whatever it is. But make an effort to educate the players about the proper fundamentals. When we teach people the fundamental skills in terms of sports, whatever sports it is, it normally stays with them for a very long time. When we see people who play sports at a particular level and we say, oh, they don't have any proper technique, they're not sound, they're not well coached. These things happened when they were very young. They probably didn't learn them, they probably weren't coached enough, nobody probably attempted to educate them, and so they came to doing what they knew. And obviously it is not good enough. And so we have to make an effort to attempt to educate, to teach proper fundamentals. And we can do this by understanding whatever we're coaching and whatever we want to teach these youngsters, and also to make sure we can do the demonstrations and so forth properly. Because some people learn, and this is something that we call skill acquisition. Some people learn by watching you. Some people learn by listening to you. Some people learn by reading it on a phone. Some people learn by trying it for themselves. So there are lots of different ways of learning. And so we have to make sure that we cover all of these bases so that the athletes around us, whichever way that they learn best, it is covered. So the guys who learn by watching, you demonstrate. The guys who learn by trying it out themselves, you let them have a go. The guys who learn by reading it, you send a WhatsApp to their phone. And the guys who learn by listening, you tell them, maybe more than once. So you would have covered 4 ways of learning, even though there are a lot more, but at least we can start with that. So very important that we try to educate. Thou shalt always remember to establish routines and regimens for stretching and warm up before the actual start of practice or games. Excuse me. It is something that is very crucial. Every young athlete should have a routine. So whenever they leave you as a coach and they go somewhere else, they still have a routine. A warm-up routine, a stretching routine, a get-ready routine. A routine that says, look, I'm at the ground, and this is what I'm going to do to get ready. It may be a routine before the trainer or the coach comes in and do the team routine. But they have something to get them going. So when they come, they just don't sit down like a rock and wait for everybody else to turn up. Also, the routines that you do, maybe routines to help you work on skills. It could be knock-ups, it could be catches. But you have a routine that gets the blood pumping, getting you ready mentally and physically for the game or for practice. But routines are very important and they need to be established. Players, coaches, trainers, all these people should come together with the player and say, look, these are the routines that we believe you should focus on whenever you get to practice, whenever you get to matches, so that you can have an early start in terms of getting yourself ready. Thou shalt always remember to make it a point to identify personally with each player of the team. Very important that each player knows that they're special, that they feel special, because the coach can call me by my name, he can tell me what I did, what I didn't do. He actually can come and talk to me about things that happen on a one-on-one. Given that we are a team, he still finds the time to speak to me one-on-one, maybe even at home at night when everybody's at home, the coach will pick up his phone and say, hey, Jonathan, I saw you today. I like the way that how you felt about practice today. You believe that you came out, learning some things and so on. And have a chat to each player. Let them think that they're special. Hey, the coach take his time to call me. Imagine they go back to school next day and say, hey, the coach called me last and then talk to me about my game and so on. These are what we actually are looking for in terms of identifying personally with each player of the team. Last but not least, thou shalt always remember as a coach that in order to be able to teach anything, you must commit to learning about it. And early on we touched about this one in terms of educating people. All of the educators in Antigua that works for the Ministry of Education, I believe they had to go to some college to be trained. So they understand about teaching and what they're going to teach. And it must be for the same in cricket, football, basketball, netball, volleyball, tennis, whatever sports. You as a coach must be able to identify with it. You must be able to understand about it. If you don't have these two things going, you won't be able to teach it. And sometimes, even if we understand a particular game or sport and we know about it, we're willing to learn more about it, we still have to understand how to coach before we can move into taking up that. And so, out of these 10 commandments, we're going to move right into our coaching skills, which will duplicate from what we spoke, but they're very important that we understand the process in terms of the 10 commandments. And the first one we'll look at is how to explain. If we're explaining, we're talking to people. And if we're talking to people, we want their attention. And that's the first thing, that we need to look at after we have planned, because if you're going to explain something, you got to know what you want to say. So you plan what you want to say. That's the first step in how to explain. You plan what you want to say, then you gain attention. If you don't gain their attention, then what you explain, who are you explaining to? To explain, keep it simple. Don't confuse people. And then we invite questions and check for understanding. And this is the part I want us to look at. How do we invite questions after we have explained? What type of question do we invite? And it is simple. And I'll give you an example. If we're speaking about today, we're going to be practicing heading the ball out of the 18-yard box. And this is what we're going to do, and you give your explanation. And all you have to ask them, what are we doing today again? And somebody will answer. We're heading the ball outside the box. And you say, anybody else have anything differently? And they say, oh, that's what we're doing. So you know right away, they understand what is it that we are doing. That is how we are checking for understanding, that they themselves can repeat what you just said to them. If they start to scratch their head and start to shoot into the goal, and you know one thing, I didn't get their attention, and they do not understand what is it that we're supposed to do. So you have to go over that process again. So that's the first skill, how to explain. The second one, how to provide a demonstration. Okay, how to demonstrate. And if you're going to demonstrate on this occasion, you need people to see you, because you're doing something that you need them to see now. So you have to get in a position so everybody can see and everybody can hear you. So don't stand up behind two guys, and no, you want everybody to be in a position. You say, hey, look, everybody in front of me, spread out. I don't want nobody behind anybody. When all can see, you provide an accurate demonstration, just focusing on a point or two. Don't focus on too much. If we're doing batting, we just say, just look at the grip and look at the stance. Then you do your setup, and that's all you want to look at, the grip and the way I stand up. That's it. Just look at that. You then provide the demonstration more than once from different angles, so they can see you from sideways, they can see you from front ways, and they can see you from behind as well, so that they get the three different views of you doing that. So then they can get a better understanding what it should look like. And they don't need to move. You're the one doing the demonstration, so you just move. First you stand up, you face them, then you turn to the side, then you turn to the back, turn your back to them, and they see three demonstrations doing the same thing from one person without them moving. Again, we check for understanding before they go to practice. And again, how do we check for understanding? What do we ask? And all we got to ask them is that, what did you notice? And you can tell them about the focus that your focus area that you were looking at. In that we say we're focusing on the grip and the stance. Just ask, what did you notice about my grip? What did you notice about my stance? And they can tell you what they saw, what they noticed, and you would have said, well, fair enough, they definitely know what is it they were looking for, and they get a good grasp as to what I am looking for. So then off to the nets to practice. How to analyze. And again, this is a critical one, because if you're going to analyze, you have to have something to compare that with. If I'm going to analyze you throwing a stone, there must be a picture, whether in my head or whether it's a video of someone doing the perfect throwing of a stone. So that is critical. compare your observation with your picture of good practice. That's the first thing. Then you identify the matches. So when you compare the two picture, you look at the good positives. We always do that first. Look at the positives, and then you identify the mismatches. Decide whether to reinforce, modify, or note, but take no immediate action. So what this is saying, when we analyze someone, we just don't rush in and say, well, look, these are the things that you didn't do so well, these are the mismatches, so we're going to change. No. You need to wait and see if it is consistent, if it is a habit, because the next time you see them, they may not be doing that very thing. But at least you have a record as to what you saw, and if you believe it is time to make some changes and that type of thing. Our next coaching skill is how to build rapport. Again, very important. It's a two-way street. We need to have dialogue with the athletes. We need them to talk to us. If they're going to learn, we can't be just talking. They have to be a part of the discussion as well. And so, to have a rapport, it is very important again that we know the players' names and we call them by name. Smile and make eye contact with each participant. Again, that is a situation that coaches need to let everybody see that they have been paid attention. Not just that we're talking to these guys here and those guys over there, we're not even turning our face to them. Eye contact and make sure everybody think that, yes, he's speaking to me. Coach the person rather than just the sport. Very important point is this. Too many times we as coaches go down and we just coach a sport. Yes, and the game is so and we do so, and somebody is there not understanding a thing that is going on. Or they need a little assistance in doing some particular skill in the drill that we want to run. And we just totally just keep speaking to the team and what the team requires, and we leave that person there to struggle. No. Coaching is about developing people. Okay? So, this is crucial. Coach the person, very critical, not just the sport. 4, show interest in and respect for each participant and others. Again, that is key. We have to show that we respect everybody as coaches, because we ourselves are going to want this respect. So, always remember that to build rapport, those are the things that we need to do. We move on to how to generate and provide feedback. Okay? 1, ask questions to encourage self-reflection. Because again, we want a discussion. We want you to tell me. So ask, look, you felt you had a good game yesterday? No, coach. What areas you felt you could have done better in? What do you think? Tell me, what do you think? You believe practice, maybe we need to do something different? What is it that we need to do? You get it from them. What is it they believe? Limit information to 1 or 2 points. Again, we don't want too much information and people not remembering, not retaining the conversation, and did retain the information because it is too much. Give specific, simple information in a positive way. Again, good information. Look, next time, I think you can use your feet a little more to this off spinner. I believe you're a good player of that. But I just believe maybe today you were not up to it, but you're normally a very good player of spin. The next time you believe you can use your feet a little bit, I believe you could upset him and maybe dominate him. Those are good words to someone, and they would think, hey, this coach really believes in me, boy. And that is what you want. Check for understanding. What will you do now? Again, we need to make sure that they understood that they just spoke about, and also is that what is it that they're going forward with? What are they going to do differently? What are they going to do differently the next time so they can make it better? How to use questions. Prepare basic question in advance. Use questions that start with what, how, or tell me. And if you notice, there is one that we didn't mention there at WH as well. Why? If someone asks you why, it simply means rather than talking about it, you're actually looking for an excuse or a reason. And that should not be the case. But if one say, what happened out there? Or how we didn't perform as well as we were practicing in the nets this week? Or tell me what you find about the bowling or the captaincy. So you're really telling them, rather than if I say, why you didn't, why you get out to that delivery. That is forcing you to defend something that happened, or to justify something, or to find a reason why. And so for that reason we have not put why in it, because we think that maybe it can be a little bit inappropriate in terms of that. And the question really should be, what happened out there? What is happening out there? How could you do better against this bowling attack the second round, and so on? These are the sort of questions that we put in the form of answers. Keep questions short and simple, and listen to identify the next question. So we have to listen as well, because we are asking questions, they're going to be answers, but you have to make sure you listen for the answer so that you can ask the next question as well. How to keep it safe, and this was part of our 10 commandments. Assess the risk associated with the environment, the players, and equipment. So again, we go on to make sure we check out everything, all the risk factors, if it's wet, if there's broken bottles about, if there's a wall that can damage someone if they run in it. All these things we have to check as coaches to make sure that the players and the equipment are safe as well. Keep checking the environment, players, and equipment. So what we're saying here, just don't check it before the start. Keep checking it during, because a player may bring a bottle and they may break it and piece may be there on the ground, and when we check in the morning it wasn't there, but in the afternoon it was. So how to keep it safe is that skill. And I believe that we are going to just take a little break and just recognize our sponsors, and then we will continue. And we just want to say thanks to ACB, our platinum sponsor. They have been with Parish League Cricket and the Parish League for more than 44 years, and they have really and truly given the young people in that time, and they've given young people in Antigua and Barbados a certain opportunity to go and express themselves and to recreate themselves in something that we love so dear here. Brands for Less, our other sponsors, Seco Pharmacy, Digicel, Plumbing Electric Limited, that's PEL, Zen Body and Skin Care, Blue Mountain Water, Pine Hill Juice, Hutchinson Limited being the distributors, and Cool and Smooth. And remember to send us a text or WhatsApp 776-2860. As we move on in terms of our coaching skills that we are looking at, like I say again, let me apologize for my guests who had to fly out today on emergency. And so we're doing a solo, just recapping the coaching commandments, the coaching skills, trying to put it out there, make it part of the whole coaching network, so coaches can have a better understanding of how we go about doing some of these things, how we get maximum benefit in terms of some of the things that we do. And so we continue with this, the coaching skill, how to keep it safe. We spoke about check the environment more than once. Make sure that nothing comes in. You may be checking and a bottle may come into play when somebody was walking off, he dropped out of the bag and it is in the way of the fast bowler, it is run up or something of the sort. But keep checking the environments to make sure that nothing is putting the players at risk. Ensure the players stick to the task set. And that is very critical, whatever task you give them, because you will not check the area, you don't check the equipment, you will not check the surrounds. You know that everything is okay. But if somebody decides that they're going to do something different to what you as a coach set out, that is where they may find themselves running into something that is not meant to be there. Okay? So, like climbing over the fence and these kind of things. And whatever else, you know, we're batting here, nobody's knocking up that side. Because you're there, you're knocking up, bam, you hit the ball in somebody's head. That is not part of the task that was set by the coach. So always make sure that the players follow it and that no one gets endangered. Then follow the correct coaching practice. Again, we as coaches, the correct coaching practice, we have to decide what is that in terms of for us and practice it. You don't want to stray away from that and then all of a sudden you find yourself in some problems, somebody getting hurt or injured. How to make it fun? Get them active quickly. And we spoke about that. You getting ready, you're standing up with your mitt or your bat or whatever it is that you're there with, whatever the first activity will be. You're ready. They see that you're ready. You have your coaching equipment on, and so they put their bags down and they get ready immediately because the coach is ready. Provide a variety as well as a challenge, and that is in the warm-ups, the games, and so forth. Make sure that it is challenging. Make sure that it is more than one. You don't want to be doing one. See some people playing football, they warm up for cricket with a football, and they do that for about a year. That's the only thing that they did. So I'm like, I would have been very bored if I was in that team. I think it is good to change things a little bit, change things around so that there's a fresh, new scenario when you come up to the next game. Maximize the involvement as well as the success. And we want to go back to our friend there and say to him, you were happy with the way that practice went today? And he should be able to say, oh, yes, coach, I had a wonderful time. You know, I was very much involved. You know, I was part of the whole thing. You don't want somebody to go and say, boy, to the boy, the coach, they even give him a chance, boy, for kick the ball or for hit the ball of the net or whatever sport. He may go and he may say to his dad, today the coach I just go there just like a rock. Dad will say, why me? I just go and stand up the coach and ask me nothing, he get me involved, I didn't even get to hit the ball. That's not what we want. We want them to go back and to say, Daddy, I want to go back tomorrow. The boy, the coach, really, I get a lot of batting today. I get to hit the ball, I get to slam the ball. Whatever it is that you are having, whatever activity, make sure that all is involved. Make sure that all is involved and make sure that the involvement has to do with them doing well, with some success. That is how we get them to understand, get them to love, get them to come back. Give positive feedbacks on effort as well as performance. And again, always compliment the players. Tell them that, look, I think that was a good try. Even though sometimes as a coach you believe that effort was a little bit below par, but give them something encouraging so that they can feel, hey, you know, okay, the coach isn't giving me 100%, but it's a work in progress. Next time I definitely will make a bigger effort. Always remember, safety in mind, and that is how to organize. When we're organizing, keep safety in mind. That is critical again. There's so many of these coaching skills where we speak to safety. Because when we coach students, we coach juniors, seniors, and even internationals. But we have to make sure that things are in place. Because if they get injured, it will be on our backs. Plan and manage people, equipment, and space. As the coach, that's what you have to do. You are responsible for that, for the equipment and for the players. So you have to plan how you're going to manage them and making sure that everybody and everything is safe and risk-free. Use of group size to control intensity involvement. And nothing is wrong with that. We can use the group, we can split them, or we can say, look, you know what? This is a group activity. Let us get everybody involved. 1 ball, 6 players. You got to touch the ball or whatever, but you can use it to control the intensity, make it more competitive. Then to put it that way. So those are the skills how to organize, and those are the 4 points that we need to look at. How to observe without prejudice. Again, when we coach, we need to be honest. We need to be fair. And so, we don't want to observe and we see someone and we say, oh, no good. And that is why it says here, without prejudice. Prejudice to me is like prejudging. You see someone and you judge, oh, he never come good, he have problems. No. So we're saying, when we observe, we do it like this. First point, break down, focus one part or coaching point at a time. So we're doing one at a time. Have a look at the grip, have a look at the stance, have a look at his head. Those are the 3 things that we're looking at. Head, stance, grip. And once we see that from in front, we go to the side and we observe from different angles, making sure that we are again seen from different angles. And then we observe several times. And that is why you see whenever we have cameras doing video matches, so we do 2 different views. We would do you want to make sure that when you do the observation, you do it several times. You want to make sure that you have a look from in front, you have a look from behind, you have a look from the side. This is to give you an idea as to what they look like. So whenever you see the matches, you see 2 cameras, one from the side, one from in front, so that the coaches can compare one particular shot from 2 different angles as well, if they're not doing it live. Because when we're seeing something live, we can only see one shot, one view. So it is very important, and this is where you want to come in with technology, that coaches may think that technology and computer and science is not real coaching, but it is. Because it gives you, the coach, to see a particular skill, something in particular, the same one. You can see it from 3 or 4 different angles one time. If you have 4 cameras, you can get the 4 shots. Look, that cover drive over cover, I want to see that from side on. You have the front on shot, yes. And not just that, you can see it over and over and over again. Because you can replay. If we see something in real life, if it's not recorded, that's it. You will not see it again. Or not exactly the same way. No matter what it is. A man walk on the road every morning to go to work. You see with your naked eye, it may look to you like every morning all his steps are the same, but there is no guarantee. You can only guess or assume that they are the same. But if you record it one morning and record one the other morning, you can put them together and see, hey, this morning I believe he was probably late, his strides were a little bit longer, or whatever. You can now compare. So very important that we get into technology as coaches and have these data, have these facts saved so we can always refer to them. And again, record what you notice. And that is why we say, once you would have done that, because we're only observing, you don't make any change, you don't make any decisions, we just record what we notice. So that is very important. And so those are the 10 coaching skills that we really and truly want you as coaches. Again, you have our number, 776-2860. You can get them, you can have them, we can forward them to you, and you can have a look, you can have a go through, you can have a discussion. If you have more that we can add, we can do that as well. Our coaches, and we must say that in Antigua, our coaches, we have to start to strategize, okay? And we're going to have a little look, just strategies for planning, because that is very critical going forward as coaches. And if we notice in the first coaching skill that we spoke about, it says plan what you're going to say, but also we must plan what we're going to do. And if you look at this strategies for planning, it goes on to say, consider the developmental stage of participant, example, skill level, and experience. Okay, so that is the first thing that we have to consider. When your strategies for planning, consider the development stage of the participant. Where are they? What skill level are they? What experience do they have? Okay, that is how we're going to start, by saying, okay, this is where they are, this is what, and then you will know, okay, fine, I know where we need to go, what we have to do. Consider the participants' motivation and expectations. Again, you have to see how enthusiastic they are. You have to see what they expect, what are they looking for, how much are they looking forward to it. Consider the cultural background and particular special needs of participants. And this is where we may need to go, sit down and have a talk with mommy and daddy, see exactly what type of background, culture, what are their needs, if they and all these other things of the participant before we start putting pen to paper. Decide on learning goals related to movement, skills, knowledge, and understanding. So decide on learning the goals related to movement, skills, knowledge, and understanding. Again, we have to know what are the goals that we're going to set. What are the type of movements that these young boys or girls can make? Is there any limitations? What knowledge and understanding do they have of the particular skill or the game? These are things that we need to identify with, figure out, before we can go and plan any strategy. Because these are the things that will make up that. The answers that we get from these things will determine what goes into the planning. Include a focus on etiquette and standard of behavior. How do I behave at the table? How do I behave when I'm out? How do I behave when I'm home? How do I behave on the cricket field? How do I respond to people? How do I stand up when I'm around people? What do I do? If someone says something to me, what do I do if someone asks a question? How do I answer them? So generally, we're saying etiquette is good, good manners, good table, and standards of behavior is critical. It also helps our discipline. It keeps us humble when we learn to respect people and people respect us. It lets us feel a sense of belonging, and it gives you self-confidence when people may be older than you are, people who have achieved more in you than life look at you as someone who is very pleasant, someone who they have time for because you're well behaved, you have good manners, and these are things that is very critical and must be part of planning going forward when we're dealing with our young athletes. Even the senior ones, there still can be some changes. We have to make sure that the planning is done, the strategy is right, because we can plan, but if we don't know what we're planning for, then it will be futile. Because you may plan for the most well-behaved person, and when you turn up, one of the athletes or two, they don't understand certain things in life because where they're coming from, we didn't check on their background, and so we miss that. They're accustomed to having their own way, coming when they want to, leaving when they want to, and doing most likely what they want to. And so when you start talking to them, they can understand where you're coming from. This is something that we're accustomed to. So it is very good that we get the background checks so we can plan going forward. Write an overall management plan, use of space, time, safety, equipment, and facilities. Select learning tasks to be taught at specific sessions. And we have spoken about this. The overall management plan, the use of space, make sure there's enough space, everybody can participate, make sure that it is safe, nobody's at risk of injury, make sure that it is timely, there's enough time to complete, to get in the learning, make sure they have enough equipment that everybody can participate, and make sure the facilities are up to scratch, that it can be safe and so forth for people to learn. So again, you see, we're tying all of this into one, and it is basically telling us some things that we have looked at before, and this is strategies for planning. Okay, so the critical components there in terms of the overall management plan: the use of space, time, safety, equipment, and facilities. If we can tie those down, we're well on our way. And we have to select the task to be taught at the specific sessions. So every session that we're planning, you must have a specific task. If today we're all going to learn how to kick penalties, that is a task for today. If we're all going to learn how to throw the ball from our chest, netball or basketball, throw it from our chest, or throw it with one hand, that is the task for the particular day. So always remember, if you have that down and written down, if you didn't complete it, you can always continue. But planning is important. Excuse me. Analyze the task into components to be learned. So all we're doing, excuse me, throat is a bit dry. Let me drink some Blue Mountain water. Yes, that should be good. Always remember that we're breaking down the task that we need to learn into small areas, small bits. It may be learning to pass the football, but there are components in terms of passing. You got to be in the right position. The person have to be in the right position. Which part of the foot to use. All of these can be components in learning how to pass a ball. So it is very important that we understand that Coaching is very dynamic, but if we simplify coaching, and I'm saying to our coaches in Antigua and in Barbuda, we need to learn from each other. We need to have more dialogue in terms of going forward. We really and truly need to plan our sessions. So whenever there's an opportunity for us to go and explain, we can do it. We need to master the art, because a lot of people in Antigua who are coaches, that's what they do. They coach. And we need to be more efficient. We need to get better so we can be more effective. Okay? And it takes me back to the discussion I had with the South African coaches, is that it will be nice if when the coaches coach the younger ones, they know exactly where they want to be next year, the year after. So they have a sense of what is it that they're working at and where they want to be. Because there have to be timelines. And in one of our discussion there, we spoke about timelines. When is it that I want to achieve this? When is it I want to get into the national team? Where am I now? I just played for the under-19s team. I want to get into the national team next year. I don't believe that I was bowling fast enough, so I'm going to put on a yard and a half. I don't believe that my control is good enough to make the national senior team, so I've got to work on my control. I think a lot of the other things are in place. I don't believe that my backhand is good enough to get into the national senior team as tennis, so I've got to spend some more time with my coach working on my backhand. If we want to make one step further, the coaches must know and the athlete must know where I am and what is it that I need to do to make me better so I can move into this next step. Sometimes the coach can look at you and they can suggest and they can recommend. You also can go to the coach and say, I'm not happy with me getting out so many times between 70 and 100, so I need to work on that. What do you think is happening? The players themselves can contribute and can suggest areas that they believe can assist them, can make them better in terms of moving forward. I'm also encouraging coaches they need to share some more views from their perspective. What do we think as coaches about the standard of officiating? What do we think as coaches in terms of standard of the facilities here in Antigua and Barbuda? What do we think of coaches as the way the associations are run? What do we think as coaches as the way the association treats us and look at us as coaches? What do we think as coaches as the respect that we get from the athletes? What do we think as coaches as the respect that we get from parents? What do we think as coaches as the respect that we get from the supporters? What do we get? What do we think? What are our views and coaches and the way that we are treated by the business sector in Antigua and Barbuda? Do these people see us seriously as coaches? Do they see us seriously? Or do they just see us as somebody who just turn up and, supervise the athletes whenever it's time to go to practice or at matches? Do they see us as that person who can drive these athletes and make them become world-class athletes? Or they think it's got nothing to do with the coaches? Do they see us as people who are not serious about what we do because they understand it is a crucial role? How do we view ourselves as coaches? How do you, as a coach, view yourself? That is your view. How do you view yourself as a coach? How do you view me as a coach? All of these things we need to look at. And we all need to be in the same space, in the same bus, on the same boat. What we don't want is some coaches at the airport and some at Deepwater Harbor. We're going to two separate vessels, going to two different destinations. We don't want that. Everybody must be on the same page, heading in the same direction, singing the same hymn. If we're not doing that, it means we're pulling against each other. The book will tear. We will lose the content. We need to grow up, coaches, as adults. People will criticize you. People will call you names. People will blame you, point fingers at you because of the team's performance. That comes with the job. As coaches, we have to understand the reason why we are there and not the distractions. If you're coaching for the compliments, you're going to be in some problems. If you're coaching for the win, you're going to be in some problems. If you ask me, I will say you coach for the betterment of the athlete. You want to provide quality athletes for the highest level of your particular sport that you coach. And that should be your mantra. That should be your number one focus. You want to develop quality athletes for the sport that you are coaching in. If you work towards that, your habits, your coaching skills will be uniform because you're looking at the bigger picture. Stop being myopic if you are, and get on with it. That's where we leave it for today. I want to thank you very much for being a part of this ACB Caribbean Coaches View. I'm Kenny Benjamin. I did a solo today. I hope it was experience for you. I hope there's some things that you learned. And remember that you can contact us on 776-2866 for these information, the coaching skills, the 10 commandments of coaching. And we hope that we can make you a better coach. Have a good afternoon.